Hey honey, it's me Tato, back again with recipes that make you wanna cook, and today we're making this delicious pepper steak pies. Stay tuned. Let's get started, and as usual I will leave all the ingredients in the description box down below. For this recipe I use some goulash steak that I cut into bite-sized pieces, and all we're gonna do is spice or season them up really well with all these spices. You can also find them listed in the description box down below. We're gonna give it a good mix, and you want to make sure that every bit of that meat is covered with those spices. Once that's done, you're going to set it aside and let the spices marinate into the meat for a minimum of 10 minutes or even 32 hours, however time you have. In a hot pot, you're gonna go ahead and add a tablespoon or two of oil and some butter as well. Let that melt and come to temperature, and you're going to dump all of the meat in there and cook on medium low heat. We're not trying to brown the meat before it cooks, so you want to go ahead and cook on medium low heat. I added a pinch of salt just in case the salt wasn't enough in there, and I'm adding some fresh chopped garlic and ginger. Once the meat has been cooking on the other side, you're going to go ahead and mix it through. Make sure to keep your heat very constant. Once you see that the meat is nice and glossy, you're going to go ahead and add your chopped red onions as well as some chopped up green bell pepper as well. Mix that through, and we're going to continue to cook. For added flavor, I am using a mix of Italian herbs. If you don't have Italian herbs, you can also go away with using some French tarragon or thyme, or use them together. But whatever herbs that you have, you can absolutely use them. As you can see, I also added some thyme in there, so you can use either or all of the herbs that you can find. Mix that through, and we're going to add a cube of beef stock. We're gonna cover that and let that cook. The mixture of the beef and vegetables cooked on medium-low heat will create its own juices, so there's no need to add any water. That's going to dilute the flavor. You want to simmer the meat for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, it will be nice and tender and juicy as well. I'm adding about 3 tablespoons or less of butter and a final addition of some black pepper. This is pepper steak after all, so I want it extra peppery. Once the butter has been mixed in, you're gonna go ahead and cover, let it simmer on medium low heat for a further 3 to 5 minutes so that it can melt together with the butter and the pepper. And once it's done cooking, you're going to set it aside and let it cool completely. You're gonna go ahead and flour generously your working surface, because we're going to go ahead and work on the pastry. I'm using some store-bought puff pastry, of course, to make things easier, but if you can make it your own, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna place it on there, and I'm going to portion it out into about 4 pieces, which are going to make about 2 large or long pieces of pepper steak pies. Of course, if you have more people to feed, you can also do squares or circles. Use cookie cutters just to make it presentable. Okay, once that's done, you're going to go ahead and flour some of that pastry so that it does not dry out as we were working on the filling and everything else. I placed the bottom part of the pastry on a baking sheet that I just sprayed with some cooking spray. You can also use some parchment paper, and I'm going to poke some holes onto the pastry so that when it does cook in the oven, it does not overly puff up and become one big lump. You're then gonna place the filling in the middle and spread it across so that the pie is filled evenly and beautifully. You can add as much as you want or as little as you want, but the more the merrier. A big filled pie is always juicy and delicious, so don't be stingy on that, okay? Once you're happy with how the filling looks, gonna go ahead and place the top part of the pastry on top, and using a fork, we're gonna go ahead and seal the sides. Just going to pinch, adding some pressure on the sides of the pastry so that it seals together. We're then going to baste the top of the pastries with an egg wash for that beautiful golden top that we all love. This decorative part is absolutely optional. I'm just going to go ahead and add some sesame seeds for that beautiful decoration. Then you're going to place in the oven to bake about 180 degrees Celsius until golden brown. And just like that, we made some pepper steak pies. These were so delicious and so easy to make. The flavor is absolutely delicious. The pepper flavor is out of this world because we mixed that white pepper and black pepper as well. So it just gives some beautiful peppery flavor. When we want a pepper steak, we really want a pepper steak. That's it for now. I hope you enjoy. See you on the next one.